just dial information so you don't know it, charge you $1.
I thought I had my cell phone in there.
I think we plugged it in on our cell phone. Anyway, Kobe goes in the bank and he tells Terry's niece, he said, well, I think I'm going to take a little vacation. And he was talking, I think, about going to Australia. It's like, well, what do you, and it turned out, he was, and when she first started watching the show, it's like, well, that looks like Kobe.
Oh my gosh.
But
He couldn't tell her beforehand.
no, I don't even think they allowed you to tell them when they were picked to go. And then I could not do Survivor on the beach because of the bugs.
Well, look, they've got to eat all kinds of stuff. I couldn't
know.
eat that
I
crap.
couldn't, no.
I just go hungry.
Did you see?
Well, they do. You see the weight they lose?
Well,
Legs
that'd
in
be
them.
good.
What's sad is just one of them wins like $1 million, and the other one don't win anything. Two
No,
girls.
no, they-
And I
no,
just happened to watch that one night.
Now on Survivor, they break it down. Second place is 100,000. Third place is
I
like
thought it was
80,000.
See,
only one prize.
if I were
No,
those
not on
two
Survivor.
girls, I would have made a deal said let's just split this
Split it.
500 grand apiece
Yeah,
and get some attorneys to write it up or something.
yeah.
Of course, maybe they
What you got, baby?
And see, I like that young girl that they just blasted at the end. The one that just happened.
Is it the white girl or black girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I just happened to turn on that night.
Well, I tell
It was
you
at the
what,
end,
when
'cause I
she
didn't-
reaches over and gets her shirt and starts pulling up, naturally,
And that
It's-
girl went
yeah.
down. That was wrong
that
to do
shouldn't
that.
have been.
That
I
was
saw that
wrong
one
to
too.
do that. And that's a girl that should have won, Kathy.
I like
Oh
her.
no, I watched that.
Well, there was some
religiously.
program I watched
And
the
the
other
great
night.
race. You watch the Amazing Race. Oh my gosh, you'd laugh. Go ahead.
Your turn. You better speak fast.
I was watching the program the other night, and they was paying like 2 different ones. They was paying so much to eat what they was telling them to do. And they had a bunch of dog food.
Oh, was it Fear Factor or something?
Uh,
I don't like that show.
what was
Well,
it?
Fear Factor.
I don't know. I had never seen it before, but they sat right there and eat that dog food. It made me nearly throw up watching them.
Why didn't you turn the channel, Mama?
I wanted to see if they're going to.
Oh, I bet you don't watch Survivor because of snakes. Well, I like Survivor. But the Great American Race, I've never laughed so hard. I would give anything if I had the first show this year taped. But back to them all. They started it in September. I mean, they'd already been
I
taped.
didn't see that.
Right. Because of 911.
They didn't. Yeah, but they didn't show any of it.
Yes, they showed them all getting together, and they told their names. Or started out with the how many, 16 or whatever. But you don't know anybody because it takes a while to get into these people
Right.
before you know. And they showed the one where they went to the casino and bet,
I didn't see that.
and then they showed the one where they had to dress up, and they showed the one where they got knocked off the log, and they showed the one where the girl, where all their belongings were in that thing, and it was coming down to the
Yes.
fire.
Yes.
And then it turned out by the next day that they got their
Yes.
stuff back. Okay, you know the teacher that's kind of heavy set
Uh-huh.
and blonde, and she had her cow.
It's kind of squirrely.
Yeah, that was trying on that game to
Right.
arrange
and
the
left
letters.
the G out.
Yes,
I thought at first it might be her too.
yeah, because they do that stuff, and you just don't know. So they had one of the last things we saw. She was real close with one of the Oriental girl that she was
Mhm.
friends with. And the deal is, when you're in the hotel, you don't leave your room.
Right.
So, what's his name, dials them up, and he has one of them,
You're on the
the smart
lake.
girl,
Are
and
you
he
fishing?
talks to her and he said, here's the
You
deal.
are.
If you could get somebody to come to your room, we'll pay you, we'll give you an exemption, and we'll pay you, like, it'll add like so much money to the pot, but it'll give you an exemption. And or it had something to do with that. So she knew her good friend Katie
Yeah.
would come.
Yeah.
And so she calls her
Trying
up,
to be
and
quiet
she has her come,
because
and she has some of the boys, or like 2 of the guys come.
Oh my gosh.
I was
And
gonna scare the fish away.
after they got there, he was in there, and he said, I'm sorry,
Well, how's
you've been
everything going?
disqualified. I mean, you
What
know,
are you doing tomorrow?
because they left you broke a rule.
Hauling rock.
And
Where
so
to?
that girl just went off on her, Katie did. She said, I have a question for you. She said,
Oh,
by
I
you
see.
lying to me,
Alright.
and I trusted you.
Well, I'll let you get
Did
back
they
to
give you
fishing
an exemption?
tonight. Darling, you with you?
And she said,
Is your
yeah.
mom with you?
She's- That makes me so mad. And she just stormed out of her crying. Well, they showed that, but one of the last things was the knocking of the logs.
Wow, all
And
y'all
I
in
was,
one boat.
couldn't wait till the next week. Well, then,
How
the
could it go
bombing
so
thing
fast?
hit, the terrorist thing. Well, you know how our TV things were delayed,
Well, I love
and they
you. I'll
didn't
talk to you
have
tomorrow. Bye-bye.
was it the Emmys they didn't have?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was 2 or 3 things that got postponed and not have, and then, for weeks there, all the shows
Right.
were about, so it's like, well, did they just never finish that show? And then they just started bringing back on. Well, when they had on the 2 nights back to back, those were both reruns to catch it up.
Yeah.
So so what you're
Well-
seeing now has never been seen before.
With the bicycle race the other night, did you see that?
On the mole,
Yeah. 3 people,
what night does it come on?
Tuesday night.
We were on the road. I mean, we were in the
You got
room.
here.
We didn't watch a thing when we got here.
Okay.
Because I wanted to
3
see.
people had to ride bikes. How far was it? 3 miles, wasn't it? But it was nearly all uphill.
Oh.
I mean, tough. But they could choose the bicycle they wanted. They had 3 different bikes.
2.
2 different bikes. Yeah, there was
There's
just
one
2
that had
teams.
gears and one that didn't.
Oh.
And they had, was it 3 teams on each?
2
pair?
teams of 3.
I mean, 3 people on 2 different teams. And then they had
I don't
asked.
know why you
who
try to
likes-
tell anything.
That's the reason I keep you around.
Yeah.
They asked who liked to cook. Well, these 3 people rushed out.
Oh no.
And then they said, who hates to cook? These other 3 people raised their hand.
And they had to be the cooks.
They had to cook. They had to go, they were in this little town in Italy. They had to go
Isn't the
door
scenery great in
to door.
that show?
Oh, yeah. They had to go door to door to find a list of ingredients
Oh.
and get people to get it to them.
With a language barrier.
Oh, yeah. And they had their language book and they were trying to ask for different things.
And
And
everything's
then
a
they had to
time
find
limit thing.
some place that would let them use their kitchen to make. They had to have, was it 3 pizzas?
That's how many they cooked.
They had to have 3
know how
pizzas
many they
cooked
cooked.
within a certain length of time. While they're cooking the
You ever
pizzas
watched
and
the
gathering
bar?
all the
It's
stuff,
very good.
then
It's hard.
the 2 teams on the bicycle are trying to get up this mountain to get the wine, to bring the wine, wasn't it?
They had to go up there and get the one.
And they couldn't break the bottle.
Oh.
And I mean, those poor people, they could ride the bicycle or they could carry the bicycle. No,
No,
they
you
could
couldn't
not
push it.
push it. And it would show them going up that mountain, and I mean, they'd have that bicycle up above their head, and they'd be so tired. And then finally, they were coming behind them with the van of the other people, and then they'd stop and then let somebody take their place. But do you
But
know,
somebody-
they all made it.
You're kidding.
No, they all made it. It was amazing. It showed the blonde that got knocked off the other night.
Uh-huh.
It showed her trying to flop this pizza, but it was really
I'm telling you,
something.
that show, even the first time it was on last year,
Mhm.
the lady, the girl, when it got down to 3 people, the 2 guys, no, the girl and the guy
What you
had
got,
decided,
Jesse?
somebody had decided all the answers they were going to answer. And when it's a tie, they go by who answered it first.
Right. At the end of each show, they give them a quiz of is it 12 or
I think it's 25
I don't know. Anyway, it's a
questions.
whole bunch of questions. And they'll ask questions about who
The
you
mole.
think the mole is, how old do you think they are, where do you think they were sitting at the table when we had dinner
Yeah,
so-and-so.
did they have dessert or not?
And what was their main entree?
So
I mean,
the
it's
mole-
stuff that,
Knows the answers. It'd be like asking you, when is the mole's birthday? And they'll have all these people's birthday dates. Well, you know yours.
and then
So
after,
the mole's always gonna make 100. And you kick yourself off. If I started answering questions like I think it's her, like is she over 50 or under 50, and I'm answering over 50, and you're the mole, and you're answering them all right, then you eliminate yourself. So whoever scores the worst on the test is eliminated.
and then at the end after they hand in all their questions that they've answered, then at the end, they have this computer
I don't think so.
and they put individually, they'll put like mark in,
Every episode.
and if it comes up red, they're kicked off.
Detail.
They kick off one person
A week.
each week.
So it's
If
an
it-
episode of Mo can't get kicked off?
No,
No, the mole will
They
never
get
get kicked off.
no, they won't, because all the questions are about the mole, and they know about themselves. Like, what college did the mole go to?
Oh, I see.
Well, see, they're always talking, they all have notebooks where they can take notes.
And then one
So-
time, they took each
I know.
person's notebook with a bunch of notes,
I didn't
and they
even know
said,
this
pass it
thing
to the left or
started.
Yeah.
to the right. So that meant that all this stuff, all this information that you had, you were giving somebody else.
Sissy, what were you and Jackie wearing when y'all watched it?
Well, it depends on which night it was, honey.
Jay wants to know that.
I just watch HGTV, Fox News, and Golf Channel. That's all the
That's
three
it?
things I watch. And they're all right there, 44, 58,
Well, now-
60.
On 9, you get on 10.
Yeah, 9's 10, 5's 7, and 4's 7, 5's 8, 9's 10 now.
'Cause
Boy, that was horrible in that first
Trying to
half.
figure
Now, do
that
y'all understand that?
out. Why did they do that?
I don't know. that is
Well, our
just
channel 23 is
I know, but I've never had
Like
45 or something.
8 or something. We have
Our
17,
channel-
oh, yeah,
23, and
channel
45,
3
and ours is either,
Well,
because our
37.
CBS
Ours-
is 7.
Hours that are not the channel, we just forget what the real channel is and go
Our
by
channel
according
56
to
is
what the
channel-
guy
what
says.
we are.
Hey, one thing while
Because-
you're here, if you ever want to know what the news or the weather is, on channel 53, it's just rerun over and over and over what channel 10 news is. News, weather, and sports. Goes
Huh.
all day long on channel 53.
Well,
so
maybe
if
your
you miss
mama's
it,
like that.
if you ever miss it,
Catch
Like
it
it's-
next round.
It's a CNBC.
One thing about the weather in Bakersfield, it's
I mean, this
such
is
a
local.
gradual change.
This is local.
Tomorrow's prediction is going to be what yesterday was. I mean, it just,
Well, you know, it's been real strange, but for the last month or so, they'd predict rain for East Texas. And it was like we're here,
What
the
is
rain
it?
would either go this way or it would go this way.
Well, I think you ran into that
curious.
thing in the hall.
At least he didn't turn it over like I did.
Well, yeah,